My real name is Harlan Ellison.
Вопрос из аудитории поступил. Действительно ли сидящий справа от меня человек Гарри Гаррисон? Ответ нет. Сидящий справа от меня человек говорит, что его настоящее имя Харлан Эллисон.
Within the 1 year, they must either start the film or give you back the option. And I've had a lot of good luck with option money.
Ну, соответственно, ситуация с опционами такая, что когда приобретается опцион на фильм по книге, то... Ну, а что из этого получится?
One producer had optioned the book for 27 years, the stainless steel wrap.
Один продюсер уже в течение 27 лет каждый год возобновляет опцион на фильм по книге «Крысы из нержавеющей стали».
In the time, I've made $750,000 from him over 27 years. And my agent said, I hope we never make the film, Harry. You got an annuity every year money comes in.
Ну и, соответственно, за это время на этих опционах я заработал 750 тысяч. И мой лид-агент говорит, что я надеюсь, этот фильм никогда не будет снят, но каждый год они будут продлевать опционы.
Гарри еще отпустил одну шуточку, он сказал, что в отношении опционов очень хорошая вещь, когда год истекает, это как восстановленная невинность. Опять продляют опцион.
Meanwhile, Russia, of all places, wants to make some films of my books. And now on the option, I got money from them. A very small Russian company wants to make a film of Death Row. And I asked the name of this company. He said, well, I don't know if you ever heard of it, Harry, but it's called Gazprom. With my Hollywood agent now, hopefully signing a contract. If we do the contract, as you all know, I used to be a commercial artist, I'll write the screenplay for it. When you think about it, it's the only way to do the film. If you did real actors, you have rubber suits and fake tails wandering around, you know, fake jungles, but animation, if done well, can be a very good idea. So look forward to seeing it. I'll give full report all the time.
Я могу еще добавить, если это интересно. В понедельник Гарри давал интервью телевидению, Первому каналу. А во вторник позвонил личный представитель Константина Львовича Эрнста и сказал, что мы тоже хотим снимать кино по книгам Гарри Гаррисона. То есть, скорее всего, я их просто сведу с нью-йоркским агентом Гарри и с его лос-анджелесским адвокатом, но что-то, безусловно, из этого получится. Как вы помните, вот история с дневными и ночными дозорами тоже начиналась, в общем, с такой вот простой фразы.
Someone gave me a copy here of a Zamizdat of Technical Time Machine. I have a copy at home. When I came over here in Moscow about 20 years ago, I said, why didn't you publish Bill the Galactic Hero? It's a funny book. And they said, Gary, it's anti-communist. It's also anti-communist, anti-capitalist, anti-fascist, anti-military, it's anti-everybody. Yeah, makes no difference.
Да, ну и соответственно.
Антон, молодец! Спасибо.
Question.
И покупали?
Now it's okay, but
Как получалось?
before Perestroika, the Russians and Americans didn't sign a copyright agreement. So the Americans published Solzhenitsyn. The Russians published Gary Garrison with no money for Harry, you know. And it'll change now. My agent, Alex Korchinevsky, took care of all the publishers there. Wherever I live, no one knows who I am. I don't want them to know who I am. I remember some years back, I went, after living in Mexico and Italy and England and Denmark, the children only speaking Danish. We went back to the United States for a few years, and my lawyer wife spoke to me. Americans live for films, not for books. In Denmark had 3.5 million people. America had 2.5 million, 250,000 people, million, And there are more bookshops in Denmark than are in America. This time, I've been married for 20 years, children are growing up, I bought a house, I bought a car, I bought a lot of vodka to drink, out of book money. And they made a film, one film. And my agent's wife said to me, "Oh, Harry, I always knew you would make it." Translate that, try. That's the United States. It's a different kind of world. But in Europe, I must say, there's more respect for artists. And I live in Italy. I had no money at all, very poor. But the Italians love artists. And they always call me professore or dottore, professor or doctor. So I explained to the man in the shop slowly and painfully that I wasn't a doctor or a professor. I wrote books. He said, "Capito, signore? You want to understand? You write for a living?" "Yes, I write." "You sell your book?" "Yes." "Capito, professore? I understand, professor." So in Europe, there's a different attitude towards writers. In Denmark, I went to get a bank account. In Denmark, very organized country, I went to get a bank account, and they asked me my profession to fill in the figures. And I said, "I'm an author, a writer, I write." And they said, "Well, we don't have any writers in Denmark." No writers. "Yeah, we have forfatter or journalist. Author or journalist, no writer."
Ну и, например,
Let me think. Москва.
Оставайтесь здесь. Stay here, stay here.
No, I've been 30 years in Ireland, but I moved to England. My wife and our daughter teaches biology in Brighton University, and my wife wanted to be close to her, so we moved to Brighton on the ocean, and so I see her all the time. Okay. It's a very simple answer. You're married. You have 12 children.
Oh.
Which is your favorite child? When you write books, you have an idea for a book. Take a year or 2 years or 3 years sometimes, and you write the book to the best of your ability. You only know if it works well by readers. You have to read the thing and tell me about it. You get very strange answers. My first novel, Death World, you all read Death World, of course. And it's about war, about killing, and about philosophy. If you want to kill, you go on killing people, kill you. There's no end to it. And this is an action novel too, but it's a very important philosophical point there. I was at an English convention with an English fan. Any English fan that had Jerry here? No other one. The only English fans have heard they don't want to hear me anymore. Remember Death World, I thought was about philosophy of war and very important thing. But the people kill each other, they have guns in the holster. And this English fan, English, not American, not Russian, comes up to me and said, "Harry, I like Death World. I really like Death World." "Why?" It's all about guns.
Ну и вот, соответственно,
Never ask a writer that question.
никогда не спрашивайте писателей об этом.
Because I've known writers who talk their books out, telling their friends, telling their family, telling what. You talk and talk and talk about the book. You never write the goddamn book. So I'll tell you one thing. I've been working about 20 years on my autobiography about travel. And I've lived in a lot of countries, and people say, "Harry, when you went from Mexico to England and then on to Italy and Denmark, why?" I say, the title of the book is, "It seemed like a good idea at the time." No, I mean, you don't regret many books. You wish they sold better. You tried hard. Many times you write a book that you think wasn't too good, and it sells very well. But don't forget, the minimum time to write a book is 1 year. West of Eden took 4 years to write. How can you regret 4 years of your life? Very good question.
Очень хороший вопрос.
It came about by accident.
Это случилось случайно.
West of Eden. Well, let's kill the rat first, okay?
Закончим вначале с крысой.
I was a young writer in New York, and a lot of writers, we talked earlier, my generation of writers all knew each other in New York. We were fans, and we grew up together. I mean, Isaac Asimov, Frederick Pohl, Cyril Kornbluth, A.E. Van Vogt, Frederick Brown, Damon Knight, and we help each other. We'd actually talk to each other about story and plot. In those days, the only way to sell a story or a book was to magazines. There were no book publishing, or no paperback or hardcover. And when you write a manuscript for a magazine, you, at the front page, always double spaced. In the upper left-hand corner, your name and address, who the check goes to, if you ever get a check. Right-hand corner, number of words. Halfway down the page, you always do the half page, put typographic title, by, whatever name you want on the story. And that leaves about that much space, about 8-9 lines on the first page. You get manuscripts coming in, you get piles this high, and they're all crap. Let me tell you, as an editor, 99% is Hester Lord. Like the word in Russian, probably a very bad word. So the editor looks at the manuscript, has it in his hand, and he reads the first page only. And he said, crap, throws it aside. Crap. Now, what you must do in pulp magazine is write a narrative hook. A narrative hook in those 8 lines. He reads it, and he turns the page over. He says, I turned the page over, I'll buy it. I already sold a few stories, but I like the idea of a narrative hook. So I practiced. I wrote 10, 15, 20 narrative hooks. No idea what came after, just get the head of the hook. And I wrote one, which I remember roughly. First person, the policeman walked into the room and said, Degrees, I arrest you on the charge. When he said charge, I pressed a button, and a charge of black powder dropped a safe on his head. Good opening. Policeman, safe. Last line, narrative hook, you shouldn't have done that, he said. And it hooked me.
Я прочитал это и понял, что это зацепило даже меня.
What the hell happened next?
Я подумал, а что же, черт побери, должно случиться дальше?
Well, A, he has to be a crook, because he dropped a safe in a policeman.
Ну,
Action.